Let's replace a water pump on a 2004 Dodge Dakota 3.7. Water pump is right here, and it's going to be a 14mm box end wrench to get the serpentine belt off. For more support, just lift your belt off. Just like that. So now that your belt is out of the way, go ahead and drain the coolant. Best way I could see of doing this in this model, there's a hose with a clamp here, so I'm just going to take this off. So this is the same hose from up top. This is where your thermostat housing sits. What to do at this point, I'm just going to let it drain out. Did a flush recently, so I'm just going to reuse the fluid. We're ready to get our 13mm water pump bolts off. The bolt down there, so you have to release that first. Alright, I zipped that idler pulley off, and then I'm down to the last bolt right here. So we'll see how it looks. Full note for you guys that this gasket here is completely trashed. It's so flat I can't even feel it among the other two steel surfaces here. It's eradicated. I was leaking coolant too from the water pump, which is why I decided to change it, and this is exactly the culprit. We will be swapping this out today. Surprisingly enough, bearings in the pulley are not squeaking. Right, so I cleaned up the mating surface here because it was definitely corroded with a piece of sandpaper 1000 grit. Very, very lightly, just enough to get the old grime off. Give it a good old rinse. Here's the new water pump unit. I wanted to show you that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts. Now there's a notch here and a notch here. As you can tell, they are both different, so you really can't mix this up. So just pop her on in all the way around, just like that. So all these smaller dry bolts, such as these little ones, I am going to add anti-seize to them because I had a pretty good amount of struggle getting them out. I was going to use Loctite, but I'd rather use anti-seize so that does not happen again, because there was corrosion on, especially this one got stuck, and I thought it was going to strip or crack. So anti-seize it is. Also, to make this less confusing, you have 1, 2, 3 longer bolts, which I will begin with. So your longer bolts should sit 1, 2, 3. An 1/8 inch turn, just like that. Another 1/8 inch turn, one more 1/8 inch turn, and good. Right about that should be good. Have just about that. That's all you need. Third to last here, second to last, and lastly. So I have all bolts in there, but I still want to show you the proper way to seat this. So as always, it's a cross pattern that I do. So 1/8 inch turn and 1/8 inch turn, 1/8 inch turn, another 1/8 inch turn, and another 1/8 inch turn. Boom, done. I'll just go around and make sure they are all tight. Just stick it on there like that. Just go all the way down the hand, and 1/8 to 1/4 inch crank back to our coolant line underneath the car, so we can tighten up both of these little millimeter bolts and get it to where it stops turning, and another 1/8 inch crank, and you are good to go. Be careful with these because they do have a tendency to crack, as well as the new water pump that is only aluminum. The aluminum on that does have a tendency to crack. So to reattach the serpentine belt, there is a diagram right on the front of the hood. We'll start with the bottom few pulleys just so it's easier. Alright, I got the serpentine belt back on, 14mm on with an extension. You just push that extension down. Serpentine belt should slip right back on just like that. This is where you just check every serpentine belt pulley really seated on each pulley and not coming off. Right after all that is done, you want to get your car on ramps so you can properly bleed out the air in the system. So you just take this cap off. So we'll add our coolant back into here to properly bleed the air out. And you can see we are running smooth. No leaks. No leaks. But what's nice about these systems is you don't need a paper gasket. It comes with a rubber gasket instead, which you just pop it on there and you're done. Took it for a test drive. I got no overheating issues. Exactly in the middle where it's supposed to be. So this thing is good to go.